Fire didn't make us gods, it just made us a target. You've been told the story of the Golden Age, a time of eternal youth and zero suffering. That world didn't just fade away, it was targeted and terminated in a single afternoon. Imagine a pair of trembling hands cracking a seal on a bronze jar, thinking it's a gift, only to release 10,000 unique pathogen strains into the atmosphere. This wasn't a mistake. It was a pre-programmed execution. In the next 60 seconds, the human survival rate didn't just drop, it was deleted. We went from being an immortal rising threat to a terrified, dying species with a 100% mortality rate hard-coded into our DNA. This is the day Zeus decided that if he couldn't take our fire, he would break the biological hardware that used it.
Last time I stole the fire, I gave you the spark of civilization thinking it would balance the scales between Earth and Olympus. For that illegal tech transfer, Zeus chained me to this rock for an eternity of liver-eating hospitality. But Zeus is a strategist who understands that fire, once invented, cannot be uninvented. He realized that a healthy, immortal human race armed with fire would eventually storm the mountain. His goal for today? Total biological suppression. He needed to downgrade our asset class from immortal rivals to desperate subordinates. He didn't want us dead. He wanted us weak enough to extort. Zeus is a CEO who hates competition, and by the year 10,000 of the Golden Age, humanity was redlining. Our tech was advancing too fast. To stop us, Zeus didn't send an army, he sent a delivery system. He ordered Hephaestus to manufacture the Pandora asset. She wasn't a person in the traditional sense. She was a biological Trojan horse designed with one purpose: deployment. The gods didn't give her gifts, they installed specialized components. Aphrodite gave her a beauty that operated on a 100% attraction frequency. Hermes gave her a tongue optimized for high-level deception. But the real payload was the curiosity code Zeus hardwired into her brain. He knew that if he told a human never open this, the divine programming would eventually force a breach. This was psychological engineering at its most ruthless. Pandora was the first human woman, but in the eyes of Olympus, she was simply the most beautiful bioweapon ever built. Zeus needed a landing zone, and he chose the weakest link in my family tree, my brother Epimetheus. I told him never to accept a package from Olympus. I told him the gods don't do charity, but his name literally means afterthought. He operates on a 24-hour delay. While I saw a tactical threat, he saw a partner. Pandora arrived with her dowry, the jar. In your history books, they call it a box. They make it sound like a jewelry chest. In reality, it was a high-capacity storage vessel for 10,000 individual biological plague signatures. It sat in their home for 48 hours, glowing with a sickly neon green light that reflected off the bronze runes. This was a 48-hour incubation period for Pandora's curiosity. Zeus sat on his throne, watching the clock. He didn't have to do anything. He just had to wait for human nature to do the work for him. On the second night, the software patch Zeus installed in her mind kicked in. She broke the seal. The moment that lid moved, the Golden Age died. It wasn't a slow decline. It was an atmospheric eruption of oily black smoke that moved at light speed across the globe. These weren't just sicknesses. These were aging vectors and death viruses. For 10,000 years, a human could live a millennium without a single joint ache. Within 60 seconds of the breach, the first mortality rate was established. People who were vibrant and strong suddenly felt their skin wrinkle and their bones grow brittle. The global biosphere degradation meter dropped from 100% to 15% in a single day. We were instantly downgraded from a Tier 1 threat to a Tier 4 dying species. But here is the most sadistic part of the deployment, the hope paradox. As Pandora slammed the lid shut, she caught hope inside. Don't be fooled. Hope isn't a gift. In a world where death is now 100% certain, hope is the ultimate psychological tether. It's the software patch Zeus installed so the hardware, the humans, wouldn't crash and stop producing. It's the reason we keep laboring for the gods instead of giving up. It ensures the system of extortion remains functional. Why did Zeus do this? Follow the logistics. Before the jar,
Humans were self-sufficient. We didn't need the gods. After the jar, we became a terrified, dying species. Zeus weaponized our fear of the grave to create a market for his protection. This is the extortion dynamic. If you want your children to survive a plague or your crops to grow in a world of scarcity, you now have to burn 30% of your agricultural yield as a tribute to Olympus. He didn't want us extinct. He wanted us as mortal assets, a resource to be taxed and managed. This was hubris versus nemesis. We thought fire made us gods. Zeus reminded us we are just meat. By introducing death, he ensured a constant supply of prayers and sacrifices. He traded our potential for his absolute security. The gods became parasites, and we became the host. But Zeus's biggest mistake was thinking he could contain the paranoia he unleashed. He's looking at his own family now with the same ruthless, violent scrutiny he applied to us. He's realized that if a single asset like Pandora could ruin a world, his own pregnant wife, Metis, might be carrying something even more dangerous to his throne. A prophecy says her son will be greater than the father. Zeus isn't taking chances. He isn't going to build a jar this time. He's going to do something much more disgusting to ensure no son ever replaces him. Next time we find out why Zeus didn't just exile his wife. He ate her. The internal war of the gods is about to get very, very messy. Next time, the headache that split the world.